Okay, so, oh man. Welcome back to the Five. This next story probably has GOP candidates foaming at the mouth. It certainly did Andrew when she read the open before. A new Gallup poll has President Obama's job approval rating at an all-time low. Only 38% of Americans approve of the job he's doing. 54% disapprove. Okay. I'm not going to say anything. You go ahead and just go, this fun.
At 98, you only get a 98% approval rating in, like, the former Libya.
Yeah. But I actually will say one thing here. This is getting now, for me, a nervous point. I mean, when you get it 38%, and when the 54% number also is a troublesome number, this is now in a very dangerous range. Fortunately, the only fortunate thing I can say for Barack Obama is he has to run against one of these other people running for president.
Can I ask you, I've wiped the foam, the frothing off my mouth from the poll number, and I want to ask you a serious question. What can he do to get it back? You've been in the White House before. What can he do?
There's only one thing that's going to get this back, and that is the economy has to be appreciably, I say appreciably better. You're not going to get down to below 8% unemployment, but the economy is going to have to be better. There's not going to be a foreign policy issue, and the best thing that could happen to him is, and I'm being very serious here, is to nominate Michelle Bachmann for the Republican nomination, or Perry, either one. I will take either one of them, and it'll be a walk.
But can we just talk about that for a second? The economy has to get better, so people have to go back to work. We've had 15 of the last 17 weeks where more than 400,000 people walk into unemployment offices for the first time. I apologize to the camera guys. Here's a chart. Take a look. Can I get one of these guys? Take
you ever show up without a chart?
Here, no, I didn't draw this. These are the numbers that came out today. These are the monthly home sales in America. It has fallen off. It's the second worst of all time. In other words, we're selling 298,000 homes on an annualized basis. Came out today, which means housing market, labor market, bad and bad. Stock market's been bad. There's nothing working for Obama.
Stay up at night just to write another anti-Obama.
That looked like your EKG.
Don't
I have a question.
I bet you know what? I'm sorry, Dana, but I bet you if you put Obama's approval rating, it would go hand in hand with this chart right here. Same type of chart.
Everybody recognizes the economy is in bad shape. The White House understands it. We understand it. And listen, we've got real exposure with the Democratic Senate here. You know, we're holding on to the Senate now by not enough seats, frankly, with the numbers that are exposed. So this is, for the Democrats, this is a very dangerous time.
Here's the irony.
The only thing is we'll be saved, I think, by the Republicans.
Here's the irony of this whole thing is that President Obama was supposed to be this, from a progressive standpoint, an amazing domestic leader. And foreign policy, not so much. It's now becoming almost the opposite. Domestic disaster. Now we have, but internationally, bin Laden's gone. You're looking at Gaddafi. You may lose Assad, all under his watch. You're watching drones take out terrorists. Well, he's like a Republican.
Unfortunately, that's not the number one issue to Americans.
Every president that I can remember, when they've been in some trouble, they tend to move towards foreign policy issues very quickly. I remember Richard Nixon did that when he was in some serious trouble. It is a place where they can go and they can control the news.
Right.
I mean, they're not going to control who falls in Libya, but
that's usually a second-term thing, though.
Well,
you wouldn't know so much about that from the Carter administration. But
that's very funny.
Bob's never met a second term.
That was a shot. That's what you call a shot.
Nicely done.
Okay, but you're right. Remember President Bush on Social Security. Tried that in the second term in the first 6 months and was completely shot down by friends and enemies. The Democrats didn't even have to do anything because the Republicans took all the momentum away, and he wasn't able to do that. What's coming out more and more now is this, like the National Association of Economists, they came out and they said, you know what, it's better to cut spending than to raise taxes. This is going to be a real tension come September when President Obama presents his plan, what is now being called an outline, and we'll start to have the battle with Romney because he's going to do.
You got to look at your chart here, but if guys say that these are business economists, and they did say, a majority of them said there does have to be revenue enhancement. The only people who don't believe that left in America are the Tea Party and Eric.
I don't.
What's wrong with the revenue, Bob? I mean, we're taking in $2.5 trillion more than we've ever taken in on the tax revenue side. What part of spending cuts, $3.8 trillion in spending, doesn't the left get?
Well,
revenue's fine.
We talked about it. If you talk to Scott Rasmussen, and I asked him what he thought about this, and he said, look, when you poll Americans, they believe predominantly in spending cuts, but they are in favor of a little bit of revenue raisers. The thing is, though, they don't believe that Congress will actually use it to pay down the deficit. They think they're just going to spend it, so no one trusts anybody in Congress.
There's good reason not to. Your big hero, Mr. Ryan, the budget chairman on the House side, he finds out, a little story runs, that Mr. Ryan, who doesn't want to see, thinks, okay, taxes are just fine the way they are, or maybe we ought to lower them some more, and he specifically goes into the tax code and changes it for his buddies back in his home state. Now, there you go. There's your big hero.
All right.